This video has words starting with AS.
Assuage. 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 Assuage.
So this word is assuage, age in American, and assuage in British. Swaying because it is satisfied and happy, because assuage is satisfy an appetite or desire, and an opportunity occurred to assuage her desire for knowledge. Or it is make an unpleasant feeling less intense. The letter assuaged the fears of most members. So it is basically satisfy an appetite or a desire, or it is like relieving an unpleasant thing or modifying it. Ease, making it ease. When I say her physical hunger could be quickly assuaged, which means it is diminished, it is satisfied. To help assuage my guilt, I told the truth. Or knowing that my grandfather pulled through heart surgery does assuage my nerves. So it is like relieved or it is kind of satisfying. Warm soup does very little to assuage my sore throat. So a simple definition is to make something such as an unpleasant feeling less painful or severe, etc. Or the sausage assuaged him by giving him a massage, because it is something like this. So there are two meanings. One is relieve an unpleasant feeling, or it is pacify a hunger or desire. So to soften or smooth, or it is to calm, pacify, lessen, or to assuage the pain of injury. So massage assuages the pain, which means to make less severe or soothe, or it makes it soothe. So aspirin gives assuage, which means to provide relief, causing to feel better. Better. And the next word is assume in American English. All these days I was thinking it is as you, but in American English they don't use U sound. They always use Tamil U fastly. Au, au. Okay, so it is assume in American and assume in British. Okay, they don't say new, they say new. It's a new car. Okay, it's a not, they don't, so it is in British English they say new. So it is assume in American and assume in British. When I say the disease may assume epidemic proportions, it means take on or adopt, come to have, or affect. When I say the children are to assume as much responsibility as possible, here assume means handle or deal with. When I say the rebels assumed control of the capital, it means seize power or control. Otherwise, assume is to suppose without proof. When I say topics which assume detailed knowledge of local events, it means without proof, but supposed to be the case. When I say Oliver assumed an expression of patience, it means take on or adopt a manner or identity, sometimes falsely. When I say he assumed full responsibility for all organizational work, it means take or begin to have power or responsibility. When I say Edward I used the conflict to assume control of Scotland, it means take possession of, take over, take away. There is something called presume, which means when you presume something, you suppose it based on some evidence or probability. But assume is something you believe so without any evidence. Presume can also mean to act without permission or to accept something as. Assume can mean to undertake a task or a responsibility or to adopt. Assumes accept without proof and supposes accept in theory. I suppose we all agree. Let's move on to the next point. This is my theory and I only say it for the sake of the argument. I have no proof and I may be wrong. Suppose you are offered the job. Would you accept it? Imagine the situation. Let's suppose that he has got children. Would you go out with him? It is also imagine the situation. But if I say I assume they will wait for us. I don't know it for a fact, but that is what I take to be true. They mistakenly assumed it was Tom who had stolen the money. They believed it was Tom even though they had no proof. I think we can safely assume it was Jane who has stolen the money. I think it's not a mistake to believe it was Jane even though we have no proof. So basically assumption is I guess. And assumption is also in Roman Catholics' reception of the Virgin Mary bodily into heaven. This was formally declared a doctrine of the Roman Catholic Church in 1950. The feast in honor of the Assumption celebrated on 15th August. When I say the assumption of an active role in regional settlements, it means action of taking on power or responsibility. Or it is when I say they made certain assumptions about the market, it means a thing that is accepted as true or as certain to happen without proof. Next word is assure or assurance. In both accents it is assurance. So when I say Tony assured me that there was a supermarket in the village, it means tell someone something positively to dispel any doubts. When I say the sum assured can be paid as a lump sum, it means secure the future payment of an amount with insurance. When I say she assured herself that he was asleep, it means make sure of something. When I say victory was now assured, it means make something certain to happen. When I say they guarantee to assure your life for $7,500, it means insure or provide insurance for, guarantee. When I say it in British, it means cover a life by assurance. We guarantee to assure your life. When I say you would be assured of a welcome, it means be certain to get. Assuredly means confidently. The lad kept his cool and assuredly slipped the ball between the posts. So he confidently slipped the ball. And it is also used to express the speaker's certainty that something is true. Potted roses will most assuredly not survive winter without protection. When I say an extremely assured performance, it means an extremely confident performance. And when I say an assured tenancy, it means protected against discontinuance or change, protected against change. The next word is aesthetic in American and aesthetic in British. I prefer aesthetic, like Americans do. So it is used in physics of a system or instrument consisting of or employing a combination of magnets suspended in a uniform magnetic field on a single wire or thread in such a way that no torque is present. Torque is a force that tends to cause rotation. It is applying torque or a twisting force to an object. He gently torqued the hip joints, which means twisting force. Or you can say a 3-liter engine has lots of torque, which means it has a lot of force for rotation. The next word is Aster in American and R silent in British. So Aster in British. Aster means a structure occurring by dividing cells composed of microtubules radiating from a centrosome. The two asters are the poles of the spindle apparatus. These are the asters. So it is basically a radiating array of microtubules associated with the centrosome in a dividing cell in biology, or it is a plant of a large genus that includes the Michaelmas daisy, typically having purple or pink rayed flowers. This is Aster. The next word, if I have to say, I will say asterisk, but it is actually asterisk. Rest. It is a symbol, star kind of symbol used in text as a pointer to an annotation or footnote. It is also a mark, a word or piece of text with an asterisk entries. Next word is astern. It's not astern, it is astern in American, and R is silent. Astern in British. It means behind or towards the rear of a ship or aircraft. The engine rooms lay astern. So this is the rear astern. This is the fore ahead. Astern. So the next word is asteroid. So we know asteroid is small rocky body orbiting the sun. So it is a large number of these, ranging enormously in size, are found between the orbits of Mars and Jupiter, though some have more eccentric orbits. Asteroids are generally considered to be made up of metals and rocky materials, while comets are made up of ice, dust, and rocky materials. Both asteroids and comets were formed during the earliest history of the solar system, around 4.5 billion years ago. Comets sprout tail when they come in close to the sun. In zoology, asteroids are any member of the taxonomic class Asteroidae. Example is starfish. Asteroidae is a class of echinoderms that comprises the starfish. Couldn't believe one is found in the sky, other is found in the sea. This word is asthenia, asthenic. Asthenia is abnormal physical weakness or lack of energy. The asthenia of chronic respiratory disease. So asthenia is something related to asthma, which means the not only respiratory, generally physical weakness or lack of energy. So basically asthenic is weak or faint, feeble, soft, enervated. Next word is Aster in American, and Aster are silent in British. So Aster, not stir. Aster is in a state of excited movement. The streets are all astir. So here you're stirring something, that means you're excited. Another sense of meaning is awake and out of bed. He woke before anyone was astir. We can also ask, are they astir yet? Up by 7 each morning, which means out of bed. We can say we were astir early, nobody was astir at that hour. All means out of bed. Looking at a fish, we are always surprised, and hearing a sound, we are always like shocked. I'm saying this because astonish in American or astonish in British means surprise or impress someone greatly. You never fail to astonish me. And astound in American or astound in British both means shock or greatly surprise. Her bluntness astounded him. Here are some examples for astonish. I was astonished by his ignorance. I was a great wonder or great surprise. Okay, the garden astonishes, amazes anyone who sees it. Or you can say, I was surprised to see a ghost. I was amazed to see a ghost. I was astonished to see a ghost. So astonished, surprised. You can even use astound for the same meaning. A woman may be astounded to learn that her dearest friend has been spreading malicious gossip about her. Shocked. The teacher was amazed to find that a lazy student had gained a mark of 100 in an important test. Here, the teacher was astonished. Okay, so astonish means amaze or astound, startle, surprise. Basically, I would say that they both astonish, astound means the same thing. If there is a small difference, it would be this. Astound typically has a positive connotation. If you're describing something positively, you use astonish. Both work for positive description. Also, astonish sounds more casual, so I think it's better use reactions than astound. Astonish sounds more active and can be used to describe people, and astound sounds more to describe the beauty or nature, for example, or a complexity of a structure. So the next word is astral. Astral, yes, as we know, it is relating to or resembling the stars, astral navigation, or it could be spiritual beings from the astral plane in the space. Okay, or it could be relating to a relating to a supposed non-physical realm of existence to which various psychic and paranormal phenomena are ascribed, and in which the physical human body is said to have a counterpart. There is something called astral projection, astral travel techniques. Entry to the astral plane used to be the highly protected hidden secret in ancient Egyptian society, offered exclusively to the ultra-powerful high level by means of intricate rituals. Sometimes when information and facts within the astral realm became accessible, nevertheless, many years of mental training was normally demanded. Individuals learned for several years without any results. Even though these people seriously trained, they noticed themselves incapable of get hold on the other side. So there is something related to the subtle body, so many things. So this is all related to the astral things. The next word is astray in both accents, astray. So there is a phrase called go astray or went astray. It means to wander off the right path. To wander away off means to wander off OFF, which means to wander away from doing what is morally right. So astray means to go in the wrong direction, path, way, road or route. In spite of the fact that they had map of the city, they went astray. My dog has gone astray. So our leader has gone astray because of money. Astray, E-S-T-R-A-Y, means a person or animal that has lost its path or identity. A wandering animal whose owner is unknown, or an animal that has escaped from its owner is called E-S-T-R-A-Y, astray. In olden days, astray was used as verb to mean to stray. Now its definition has become outdated. So the difference between astray and astray is basically there is no difference in the meaning. The only difference is that astray is used as an adjective and the verb, and astray is used as a noun. My son has gone astray. Here astray works as an adverb. I met my astray dog. Here astray works as an adjective. These animals are astray. Here the word astray is a noun. All the three means the same thing. There is an idiom, lead you astray. If someone leads you astray, they set a bad example and you behave badly also, or they encourage you to do the wrong thing. So when I say we went astray but a man redirected us, it means away from the correct path or direction, or into a wrongdoing or error. They were accused of leading young girls astray. Here astray is away from the right things, or they are leading them into sin or into error or into wrongdoing. The next word is astride in both accents. Astride is of a person's legs apart. He stood legs astride. It's something called a riding, so it has to be involved with leg. When I say the port stands astride an international route, it means extending across. The port stands extending across an international route. So with a leg on each side of, he was sitting astride the bike, which means you are putting your legs on both the sides, not in only one side, both the sides. This kind of sitting is called sitting astride. The next word is astringent in both the accents. So if you put a string in your body, you just kind of feel sharp or bitter, right? So of a taste or smell, sharp or bitter. An astringent smell of rotting apples. Or astringent lotion applied to the skin to reduce bleeding from minor abrasions, or as a cosmetic to make the skin less oily. So it is causing the contraction of skin cells and other body tissues. An astringent skin lotion, because of the contraction there will be less oil production, and which is very natural, normally okay. The lotion has a mildly astringent effect on open pores, which means contracting, constrictive. Of a manner, astringent means sharp or severe in manner or style. Her astringent words had their effect. So which means here astringent means unkind, cruel, severe, sharp, stern, harsh, rough, poisonous, cutting, venomous. Next word is astro. Okay, astro in both accents. Astro. Astro is relating to outer space, astrochemistry. Whereas astrochemistry is the study of molecules and ions occurring in stars and interstellar space. Astro also means relating to the stars or celestial objects, Astrodome. Whereas Astrodome is in US an enclosed stadium with a domed, D-O-M-E-D, domed roof. The Houston's Astrodome, a domed window in an aircraft for astronomical observations. So NGR Astrodome is the 8th wonder of the world. It is basically also known as the Houston Astrodome, or simply the Astrodome is the world's first multi-purpose domed sports stadium located in Houston, Texas. It was financed and assisted in development by the mayor of Houston and known for pioneering modern stadium. After the original natural grass playing surface died, the Astrodome became the first major sports venue to install artificial turf, which became known as AstroTurf. The next word is astrology. Astrology in American and astrology in British. It means study of the movements and relative positions of celestial bodies interpreted as having an influence on human affairs and the natural world. It is also called as horoscopy. It uses the zodiac signs. And astrologer is a person who uses the astrology to tell others about the character or predict their future. Okay, he was advised by the astrologers to delay his departure. The next word is astronaut, or this is in American English, and astronaut, not it in British English. Astronaut in American English. So astronaut is a person who is trained to travel in a spacecraft. He's also called a spaceman or a spacewoman, space traveler, space pilot, or it is also called as a cosmonaut. So basically, USA, there is the thing called NASA. NASA stands for National Aeronautics and Space Administration. There is something called the maximum absorbency garment, MAG. Is an adult-sized diaper with extra absorption material that NASA astronauts wear during liftoff, landing, and extravehicular activity to absorb urine and feces. It is worn by both male and female astronauts. Astronauts can urinate into the mag and usually wait to defecate when they return to the spacecraft. However, mag is rarely used for this purpose since the astronauts uses the facilities of the station before takeoff and landing, and also time the consumption in the suit water. And astronautics is the science and technology of space travel and exploration. Astronomer in American and astronomer, not R, astronomer, because R is silent in British, which means astronomy is basically astronomy is branch of science which deals with celestial objects, space, and the physical universe as a whole. And informally of an amount extremely large. He wanted an astronomical fee, which means an extremely large fee. Or it could be, when I say they studied Stonehenge in terms of astronomical alignments, it means the celestial, heavenly, and something that is related to the astronomy. Okay, astronomical observations. So here everything means related to the astronomy. And an astronomer is an expert in or a student of astronomy. The word astronomy is derived from the Greek word astron, meaning star, and nami is derived from the word nomos, which means law or culture. So law or culture of stars is the meaning of astronomy. Astronomy is a natural science that is the study of celestial objects, planets, stars, moons, nebula, galaxy. The physics, chemistry, mathematics of evolution of such objects outside the Earth's atmosphere is called astronomy. Of an amount which is extremely large, you can say astronomical. Houses in the village are selling for astronomical prices. The cost will be astronomical. If you describe an amount, especially the cost of something, as astronomical, you are emphasizing that it is very large indeed. So the next word is astute. Astute, not tute. Okay, this is a significance in American English. They don't use U sound. They use nu. Okay, nu name. It is astute in American and astute, CHOOT, astute in British. The spelling is ASTUTE. Okay, it means having or showing an ability to accurately assess situations or people and turn this to one's advantage. And an astute businessman, so which means it's quick on the uptake or brainy, or you call streetwise, street smart. Okay, so basically it's very crafty and very wise. Basically it is intelligence. Astuteness in your work will take you a long way. So astute describes someone who is clever, quick, and discerning. Some dogs are incredibly astute and can learn hundreds of commands and tricks. The kid who could program websites was more astute than the kid who always picked his nose. Which step have you reached today? I won't do it. I can't do it. I want to do it. How do I do it? I'll try to do it. I can do it. I am doing it. I will do it. Yes, I did it. The next word is Asunder in American and Asunder in British are silent. Asunder in British, which means apart. Sundar in Hindi means you're beautiful, so they stand apart, kind of that, because Asunder means apart. Those whom God hath joined together, let no man put asunder. It's a Bible verse that means let no man put them apart. into pieces or split them. You can also say their lives were torn asunder by the tragedy. A torn asunder means it is like tearing and breaking into pieces. So basically torn asunder is split, cut, separate, diverse, pierce. Something like this. Torn, T-O-R-N, torn asunder. Asunder, the word simply means to separate into parts or pieces, just like this cake has been on this right. The curtain has been drawn asunder, apart from each other in position or in direction. This next word is asylum in American, and in both it is asylum. Asylum is a dated word because it is a dated word for an institution for the care of people who are mentally ill. He had been committed to an asylum. Basically, it is a shelter or protection from danger. We provide asylum for those too ill to care for themselves. Okay, basically it is a refugee. When I say she applied for asylum and was granted refugee status, it means protection granted by a state to someone who has left their home country as a political refugee. And asylum seeker is a person who has entered a country legally or illegally, who then applies for protection under the terms of the United Nations Convention relating to the status of refugee on the grounds that returning. So asylum, there it's welcoming, something that welcomes the refugee, is the protection granted by a nation to a person who cannot return to their home country for fear of prosecution. An asylee is a person who seeks asylum, who may request asylum from the US when you arrive at a US port of entry or after you arrive in the United States, regardless of whether you are in the US legally or illegally. So basically asylum has two different meanings. Firstly, asylum is the protection granted by a state to someone who has left their home country as a political escapee, and the next is that the asylum is a mental institution for the care of people who are mentally seeking. The next word is asymmetrical. The me is stressed. Asymmetrical in both the accents. So asymmetrical means having parts or aspects which are not equal or equivalent. The asymmetrical relationship between a landlord and a tenant, or it is having parts which fails to correspond to one another in shape, size, or arrangement. Church has an asymmetrical plan with an ASLE. Lack of equality or equivalence between parts or aspects of something. Lack of symmetry. There was an asymmetry between the right and left ears.